Aloha everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hyram. If you don't know who I am, my name's Hyram and I'm passionate about teaching you how to perfect your skincare routine. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. I bought this shirt yesterday because I was like, oh my god, it's gonna match my hair, it's gonna be super cute, but between the hair, my eyes, and this shirt, it's a lot of blue. I'm blue, oh. Gotta be careful. I don't want to get demonetized. Honestly, with my shit voice, there's no way the algorithm would recognize that song. In today's video, I am talking about Le Roche-Posay. I am discussing the truth about Le Roche-Posay. You guys have been requesting this like none other. But when it came to me actually reviewing Le Roche-Posay, I pushed against this so hard because there's just multiple reasons why I did not want to purchase these products. I'll save that for later in the video. But over the past few months, I've been able to try some of the Le Roche-Posay products, get all of my thoughts, get the full experience, and tell you guys what I truly think about the brand, because it is definitely a brand I feel is necessary to make a video about, because there's some things that I do like and some things that I definitely do not like, drive me fucking crazy, and need to be addressed. I'm first going to talk about the backstory of the brand, then talk about some of their most popular products, which I like, which I don't like, and break down the ingredients, because ingredients don't lie, bitch. And then afterwards talk about my overall thoughts, what I love and what I hate. So let's get into it. So a little backstory on La Roche-Posay. They are definitely like a more clinically focused skincare brand that is definitely available to the wider market. You can pretty much find La Roche-Posay in the majority of drugstores within the USA. They focus on one primary ingredient, their quote, soothing antioxidant thermal rich water. Not gonna lie, when I first saw that their primary ingredient that they focus so much on is water, I was a little bit skeptical, but from what I understand, they collect this water from a specific location within France that's very high in its selenium content. Now, selenium is an ingredient that has been somewhat studied by science, and you can find like a lot of selenium supplements, but basically its claim to fame is that it's really high in antioxidants. If you don't know what antioxidants are, there are things in the air called free radicals, and free radicals are really high in concentration where you're surrounded by smog, pollution, different things like that, and they aggravate our skin, and they increase dryness, aging, sensitivity, all of the bad things that we want to avoid in our skin. And what antioxidants help to do is basically to neutralize the free radicals so that we aren't getting that damage. And when it comes to skincare, I always look for ingredients that are a major source of antioxidants so that I can make sure that I'm neutralizing those free radicals as much as I possibly can so that I can avoid all of those problems. And selenium is high in its antioxidant content. However, not a ton of research has been done on selenium. I mean, well, welcome to the skincare world. Not a ton of research has been done on any ingredient, but I haven't seen a ton of evidence proving the actual effectiveness of selenium applied on the skin. However, I think selenium is a really good ingredient, and if you have water that has high selenium content, I mean, why not put it on your face? The brand claims to be allergy tested, and from what I've seen, also fragrance free, which I found out to be false for one of their products, but I will rant about that later. And their price point cheapest, you can find about $10 to $50, although I've personally seen La Roche-Posay products go up to $75 each, which mama. For a drugstore brand, then it's not cheap, but again, I will get into that later into the video. Now let's talk about the products. Now, as usual, I'm going to be ordering these from my least favorite to my favorite, starting with the Anthelios Mineral SPF 50 Ultralight Sunscreen Fluid. You heard right, bitch. This is my least favorite product. These are both mineral sunscreens that claim to be really, really lightweight on the skin. The main difference between the two being that this one is formulated without a tint and this one is formulated with a tint. The non-tinted one is formulated with 6% titanium dioxide and 5% zinc oxide, while the tinted one is formulated only with titanium dioxide at 11%. Now, why is this my least favorite product? Well, there are multiple reasons. First off, for the non-tinted one, I am not completely mad at the ingredient list. I always prefer mineral sunscreens when it does come to US or European sunscreens because they're way better than chemical sunscreens. But I have found that for the Anthelios Ultralight Sunscreen Fluid formula, not all of these are mineral. There's a bottle that looks exactly like this. The only difference is that it doesn't say mineral underneath. That is formulated with multiple chemical sunscreen filters, as well as oxybenzone. Why oxybenzone? I thought we've been over this. If you guys aren't familiar with my stance on chemical sunscreens, I usually try to avoid US chemical sunscreens because of the conflicting reports about how they affect coral reefs and the bleaching that they can cause. Now, there are some chemical UV filters that I can justify away because there hasn't been enough evidence that shows that they do bleach coral reefs, but Oxybenzone absolutely is the worst. I don't like to use the word toxic very much, but it has been shown that oxybenzone is toxic to coral reefs. And being that I live in Hawaii, I'm near the ocean all the time, and with water runoff, oxybenzone definitely runs into the water. There's too much conflicting evidence for me to ever feel comfortable using a product with oxybenzone in it. So I first have to get that off my chest because I was definitely turned off when I first realized that from the brand. For anyone who is going to comment saying that I'm wrong about sunscreens and the coral reef, I appreciate your concern for correcting me, but this is something that I've gone over with multiple chemists, dermatologists. I've talked to researchers here in Hawaii. I've talked to researchers in Australia. I feel like I've done a pretty good amount of research, and I'm pretty set in my opinion that there are just better UV filters out there, and I think it's just better to avoid US or European chemical UV filters, specifically oxybenzone. But when it comes to this specific one, thankfully it is a mineral sunscreen. I think the formulation is okay. I don't like, however, that titanium dioxide is at a higher percentage than zinc oxide. When it comes to mineral sunscreens, I personally think that zinc oxide is the best. It has the best protection. It's great for the skin. While I don't necessarily consider titanium dioxide to be a bad sunscreen ingredient, I only like it when it's really at low concentrations because titanium dioxide can have some sensitizing side effects, and at high concentrations has also had some similar reports in terms of toxicity to coral reefs. And also in terms of protection, I don't consider it to be as good at protecting the skin as zinc oxide. So just overall, I think the formula is okay. I will say in terms of how the formula feels on the skin, I hate how this feels. I hate how it feels so freaking much. It feels very greasy, very slippery, silky, but that kind of slippery silkiness where it feels like you just can't get it off your face, where it feels like just this light layer on your skin. I don't know how to describe it. I would say when you use a slippery oil and you're trying to get it off your fingers and it just won't come off and it stays kind of on that slippery feeling. I don't know. Well, I would say it is a pretty innovative mineral sunscreen formula because it's very lightweight. I didn't like how it felt on my skin at all. And on that note, the tinted one is formulated with 11% titanium dioxide and no zinc oxide, which I personally find to just be a turnoff because if I am going to use a mineral sunscreen, I want it to be majority zinc oxide, not titanium dioxide. As for why I don't like this one, I felt that the tint was way too strong. This I would compare to a medium coverage foundation. When I put this on my face, it looked like I was wearing a lot of makeup. And I even checked with my friend. I was like, hey, do you notice anything different? And he was like, whoa, you look like you're wearing a lot of makeup. And while I don't mind a little bit of a corrective tint, the fact that this looks like a medium coverage foundation on me, it just completely goes against what I want out of a skincare product. I want it to look like nothing is on my face. And then the final and primary reason why I don't like these products is because of the freaking price point. These are $33 to $35 each for 50 milliliters. Sunscreen is the most important part of the skincare routine, and bitch, I use a lot of sunscreen. I usually go in with 2 to 3 layers, using about a nickel to quarter size amount. Technically, we should be using a tablespoon worth of sunscreen on our face every day to get adequate protection, but I go a little bit less than that. And the fact that this sunscreen is $35 for that small of a bottle means that in total, I get through it in 2 weeks, which makes this sunscreen one of the most expensive sunscreens I've ever used in my life. It's so freaking pricey. And being that these products are some of their most popular products that they sell, these were actually the reason why I did not want to do a La Roche video. Because I was like, fuck, these products are so expensive. I'm going to go through them so quickly. I'm not able to get a sample. And sure enough, I didn't like the results. So yeah, overall, I don't think these products are worth it. I think they're the worst of them. And especially avoid the ones that are non-mineral sunscreens because the formulas are just trash. If you are looking for a good alternative mineral sunscreen, I would personally recommend the Purito Water Gel SPF 50. It is amazing because it's formulated with mineral filters. It's hydrating, but it's so lightweight that it feels like nothing, and you notice barely any white cast. It's my personal favorite mineral sunscreen out there. Oh, and if you guys are interested in purchasing any of my recommendations or any of the products that I'm talking about in this video, feel free to use the links in the description box below. I make a small commission off of your purchases, which supports me and my channel. So feel free to use those links, but no pressure whatsoever. Thanks, guys. Whew, that product was a rant. Anyway, moving on to the next one. It is the Anthelios Clear Skin Oil-Free SPF 60 Sunscreen. This one I kind of bought on a whim, and I actually wish that I didn't because I ended up finding out later on that it is a chemical sunscreen. But thankfully, this one is formulated without oxybenzone, which I was definitely thankful for. From an ingredient perspective, this one I would say is a basic chemical sunscreen. There's no ingredients that really shout at me that this would be a really amazing product, but at the same time, I also recognize that sunscreens really are only supposed to protect your skin from the sun, so I don't have high expectations invitation for a bunch of like hydrating or antioxidant ingredients like I would for other skincare products. That being said, I don't like this product. I think it is expensive for the size that you get. This one is $20, which is really expensive when you use a lot of sunscreen on your face. It's formulated with avobenzone, homosolate, octisalate, and octocrylene, all of which are pretty common chemical UV filters that I personally just don't think are good for the skin, can cause increased sensitivity, and you can just find better alternatives with a mineral sunscreen or more innovative filters from Asian sunscreens. Another thing that I don't like about this one is that it says SPF 60, which to me, that is false advertisement because you really can only max out at an SPF of 50. Anything after that is usually just like a marketing tactic to make people have a false sense of comfort that they're getting more sunscreen protection when in reality, they're not. An SPF 50 sunscreen works just as well. And yeah, I wasn't really impressed with this one. If you guys do want a better alternative, one of my favorites is the Purito Centella Unscented Sunscreen. It is a Korean sunscreen with really innovative filters, but it has an amazing ingredient list. It's really hydrating, but also lightweight. Just one of the best sunscreens I've ever used. Moving on to the next product is the Acne Effaclar Medicated Acne Face Wash. This one is a face wash formulated with salicylic acid, which is an amazing ingredient for going deep in your pores, pushing out the dead skin and dirt in order to prevent excess oiliness and breakouts. And I personally think salicylic acid is great in a cleanser form. However, this cleanser is also formulated with sodium lauryl sulfate and menthol. Now, I'm personally not completely against SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. I think it can be fine in certain cleansers, but when paired with salicylic acid, I do think it's a little bit too stripping to the face and just not the best cleansing ingredient out there. And then menthol, I personally classify as a fragrance ingredient, and they say that this product is fragrance free, but in my opinion, if it has menthol, it's not fragrance free. Menthol is really added just to give like a cooling and fragranced effect, but it's really sensitizing for the skin. Just something I like to avoid. Overall, I don't think this cleanser is terrible, the worst cleanser, but I also don't think it's that great. And compared to the other cleansers that I'm going to talk about after this, I just think it's not that great of a product, and you can find a lot better out there. A good alternative to this one is actually the CeraVe Salicylic Acid Facial Cleanser. This one has an amazing ingredient list, so many different types of hydrating, antioxidant, and soothing ingredients, while also formulating with salicylic acid to get you the result that you want without overly stripping or sensitizing your skin. Next up is the Double Repair Moisturizer, one of their most popular products. This one is a moisturizer that's really focused on protecting the moisture barrier, and as far as ingredients I like, it's formulated with glycerin, which is a really hydrating ingredient, as well as niacinamide, which is going to soothe redness and irritation, control sebum production, and brighten any dark spots or pigmentation on the face. It has a really simple ingredient list. I wouldn't say it's anything really special, but it's good. And I like the formula without sunscreen more than the one with sunscreen, just because the one with sunscreen, they use chemical filters as opposed to mineral filters. Is it the best moisturizer I've ever seen? No. But is it good? Yeah, it's a good, basic, simple moisturizer with one of my favorite ingredients, niacinamide. So if you do use it, I'd say you're fine. And then we have come to my two favorite products from Roche-Posay. The Toleraine Purifying Foaming Facial Wash. This product was actually in my best drugstore cleanser list. I really like this product. It's formulated with great ingredients, glycerin, niacinamide, as well as really gentle surfactants that aren't going to overly strip your skin. But I really liked the results with this because I personally have a really oily T-zone, so I definitely need a cleanser that's going to be strong, but not overly stripping. And this does an amazing job of that. I noticed that my skin was clean, it was effective, but my skin didn't feel like taut, dry, stripped afterwards. And I personally think this cleanser is a much better alternative to the Effaclar cleanser because that one, in my opinion, is just going to overly strip your skin, while this one is going to do the job that a cleanser should do. A lot of times we don't realize that cleansing can be the most sensitizing part of the skincare routine, so that's why I think it's really important to go in with a non-stripping but effective one. I also like this one because this cleanser is 400 mils. Okay, this baby is big, but the price was $15, which I personally think is a really good price point for a cleanser, and I had no problem using it. Can we just like live for this blue moment? Like everything in the screen is blue. I look like Miranda sings. We love a blue moment. And then my favorite product from the brand, I actually don't have it with me because I gave it to a friend once I left the mainland, is their Toleraine Hydrating Gentle Face Cleanser. The cleanser looks almost exactly like this, but it's all white and it's formulated for people with dry skin. This cleanser was also put on my best drugstore cleanser list and was actually listed as my favorite cleanser for dry skin ever at the drugstore. I love this product because when I was in the mainland, my skin was really, really dry. I was there for about a month. And the struggle I always find with cleansers for dry skin is that usually the majority of the time, I just don't think they do shit. So many times I'll use a cleanser for dry skin, I put it on my face, I rub it around, I wash it off, and I'm like, wow, that did jack shit. But this cleanser I found is really good. It's hydrating, but it's also really effective. Like, it actually cleanses your skin and you feel like it worked, but you also feel like your skin was hydrated and healthy afterwards, which is something that's really hard to find. It has glycerin, very gentle cleansing agents, as well as a ceramide complex and niacinamide. I just think this is the best product from the line. It really shines through. I think this formula is innovative and definitely worth the price point of $15 for that same size, 400 mils. Oh, okay, so those are all of my thoughts on the most popular products from the brand. Now, here are my overall thoughts. As for things I like about La Roche-Posay, I do like that they are very accessible. You can pretty much find them within the majority of drugstores around the USA and Europe, which means more people have access to good skincare, and I will always celebrate people taking care of their skin. I also like that the majority of their products are fragrance-free. As someone who is always looking for fragrance-free products, sometimes it can be so difficult to find a brand that actually aligns with that, and I'm grateful that La Roche-Posay has that clinical, more dermatology-focused perspective by not formulating with fragrance. However, I don't like that some of their products are formulated with fragrance ingredients. I also don't like that in some of their products they do formulate with more stripping ingredients or sensitizing ingredients like sodium lauryl sulfate or menthol, as well as chemical UV filters, which are known for being sensitizing to the face. Also, another reason I'm not crazy about La Roche-Posay is that I find that they're just overhyped. Like, people talk about La Roche-Posay like it's Jesus Christ in a brand. While I don't think the majority of the products from the line are bad, I don't think that they're that great, and I think that they get a lot more praise than they deserve. I personally think a better brand than La Roche-Posay is CeraVe. If you guys have watched multiple videos from me, you know that I've talked about CeraVe a lot because I think that they are very clinically and dermatology focused while also providing fragrance-free formulas with less sensitizing ingredients and a lower price point while still being just as accessible. And then the final and main reason why I'm personally not a fan of La Roche-Posay is the price point. They, besides those two cleansers, in my opinion, are a really expensive brand. Like, hello, paying $75 for a drugstore skincare product, that is the price point of a luxury skincare brand that you would find at Sephora. And being that I'm not able to get samples of La Roche-Posay products in the drugstores here in Hawaii, it's a total guess game as to whether or not the product is actually going to work, and pretty much just throwing money down the drain. You can find really similar but just as effective, if not more effective, formulas in CeraVe products, and it just doesn't justify that for me. You guys know me. I am willing to drop coin on a skincare product if the formula is really impressive. But when I find that these formulas are kind of mediocre and do include sensitizing ingredients, I'm not able to get a sample, but they still charge a premium price point. I don't know, I'm turned off. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to hear all of your thoughts about your opinions on La Roche-Posay. I know this is going to be controversial, and I know a lot of people are going to be really pissed at me for my opinions, but hey, that's just what I think. I have really high standards when it comes to skincare brands, and if I'm going to go out of my way to pay money for a skincare product, I want to make sure that it is the best formula out there. And I approach La Roche-Posay with that same mindset. Let me know down below what brand review you think I should do next, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.